Greetings to you all. I am Dr. Anveshni Dumala, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology in Vignan's Nirula Institute of Technology and Science for Women. So in the previous class, we have seen like what is a wireless LAN, what is the standard that is given for this wireless LAN technology, right? IEEE 802.11. Also we have seen different advantages and disadvantages of wireless LAN. We have discussed the design goals for this wireless LAN. Also we have seen different transmission technologies like infrared transmission technology, and also we have seen the radio transmission technology, right? So in this session we are going to discuss, like we are going to compare two different types of networks, that is infrastructure network and also infrastructure less network. So infrastructure less network can also be called ad hoc networks, right? So now let's see in the diagram. You can observe like we have two different types of networks. The upper one is infrastructure network, which has an access point in it. So access point is something like a hardware device that coordinates these wireless devices that are connected to it. So in this infrastructure we have the partial network is a wired network, and the other half of the network is wireless network. So if you observe in the diagram, all these wireless devices are connected to the access point wirelessly. That means there are no cables connected to that. And in the same way, all these access points are connected to the wired network. See, in this infrastructure network, the wireless devices that are connected to the access point cannot communicate with each other directly. They can communicate only through the access point, right? So next one is ad hoc networks. So here ad hoc networks doesn't require any infrastructure. In the case of infrastructure network, it doesn't require the access point. Here the devices can communicate with each other directly if the communicating devices are in each other's transmission range. So in the previous class we have discussed, right? So we have different ranges, so different proximity. Like we have seen the transmission range, after that we have seen the detection range, after that we have seen the interference range. So depending upon the distance the signal is traveling to the station, the receiving of the signal, the reception of the signal will depend, right? So you have to remember that all these wireless devices have their own transmission range. So if a source want to communicate with any other device like destination device, that particular destination device should be present in the transmission range of the source. Then only it is possible to communicate with each other. Otherwise they will not. So they can use intermediate devices. They take the help of intermediate devices. So that is why ad hoc networks are also called multi-hop network, because there is a source and also there is a destination. Because these two devices are not in each other's transmission range, they cannot communicate. But by making use of the intermediate devices between these two devices, we can able to hop from one intermediate node to the other intermediate node and finally to the destination. This is how this ad hoc network is called a multi-hopping communication technology, right? So next one, we are going to see the IEEE 802.11 architecture of an infrastructure network. So in the diagram you can observe like we have different stations like station 1, station 2, station 3, etc. All these stations are connected to the access point, right? So all these access points are connected with each other by using this distributed system. And also you can observe there is a portal which is helping these wireless LAN devices to communicate with the other devices that are present in the wired LAN. Like example like it could be a Ethernet, that is 802.3. It could be a token ring 802.5. So if you want to communicate with any wired network devices, then you can connect that network by using this portal, right? So this wireless devices like stations and the access point together, we are calling it as a basic service set, right? So in the diagram you can observe like BSS1, like basic service set 1, and BSS2, that is basic service set 2. So all these basic service sets together form another set which we are calling it extended basic service set. So each basic service set and also the extended service set will have the special identification number. So if any device which is present under one access point wants to communicate with the device that is connected to the access point 2, obviously it should know the basic service set identification number, right? So that's all about the architecture in the infrastructure network. Fine. So this is the IEEE 802.11 architecture for an ad hoc network. So ad hoc network means you have to remember that there is no access point. So the devices can themselves communicate directly with the devices without the help of the infrastructure or the wired backbone, pre-installed infrastructure. So anything you call it, there is no centralized infrastructure in the case of ad hoc network, right? So here you can observe like there is a direct communication within a limited range. So here in the upper one you can see like station 1, station 2 and station 3 are connected to a single access point. We are calling it as 802.11 LAN, and together these stations and the basic access point we are calling it as a basic service set. So in the lower part of the diagram you can observe like station 4 and station 5 are connected with each other. They are connected with each other and we are calling it a basic service set 2, right? So I have a question for you. There is a station 1 and also station 5. Can this station 1 communicate with the station 5? Obviously not, because both the stations are not in each other's transmission range, right? So if we want to have the communication with the device, that particular device should be present in our transmission range, right? So here the station means the terminal with access mechanism to the wireless medium, and the basic service set, that is BSS, is a group of stations using the same radio frequency, right? So now we are going to see the IEEE 802.11 protocol architecture. So here two devices are communicating. On the one end of the diagram you can observe there is a mobile terminal in the sense which has the capability of moving from one location to the other location, whereas on the other end you can observe there is a fixed terminal. So fixed terminal in the sense it will not move from its particular location, it is fixed at one location, right? So these two terminals are communicating. So one is a one is a fixed network, one is a wireless mobile device, right? So symbolically the mobile terminal is represented by using the laptop and the fixed terminal is represented by using the desktop, right? So all these two devices are connected by using the access point in between, right? So on the mobile terminal we have 5 layers like physical layer, data link layer, network layer or IP layer, transport layer or application layer. So on the fixed terminal also we have 5 layers like physical layer, data link layer, network layer or IP layer, transport layer and the application layer. So in between we have the access point, and this access point will also have the 2 layers, that is physical layer and data link layer. So one thing you have to observe that this data link layer is divided into 2 sub layers. One is logical link control and the other one is medium access control. So here the communication is happening between the mobile terminal and the fixed terminal, right? So here we have taken 802.11 for the mobile terminal and 802.3, that is Ethernet, for the fixed terminal. So the communication is happening between these 2 devices. So in this wireless LAN topic, we are focusing more on the physical layer and the medium access layer. Fine. So now let's see what are different layers and what are their functionalities and what are different protocols that are present in each layer in this IEEE 802.11 architecture. So here you are able to see there is 2 protocols present in this physical layer. One is PMD and the other one is PLCP. So PMD in the sense physical layer medium dependent protocol, and the other one is PLCP, that is physical layer convergence protocol. So now let's see, here also we have physical layer management, MAC layer management and also a station management in the diagram. So now let's see, like MAC is going to be responsible for the access control, like it will implement the access mechanisms in this layer, like how and what stations at what time and how much time they have to access the channel is controlled by this medium access control layer, right? Next one, it also does the fragmentations. So we have the data to send. So the whole data is not sent at a stretch onto the network, but it is fragmented, and each fragment is sent to the receiver. After the receiver gets all the fragments, it has to reassemble them and it can process the data. So next one, it also does the encryption for providing the security. Next, MAC management. So MAC management is responsible to maintain the time synchronization among the devices that are communicating in the network. It also supports the roaming. Roaming in the sense these wireless devices can move from one location to the other location. If they are moving to the other location, obviously it is got hold by the new access point. That means it is changing the location. Technically we are calling it a roaming, right? So next one, this MAC also maintains a management information base in which the information regarding the status of the devices in the network are maintained. And this database can be accessed by using the protocol called SNMP, that is Simple Network Management Protocol. Right, this MAC layer is also responsible for the power management, since we have discussed like all these devices are operated by using the limited battery power, so they have to conserve the power. So power saving mode is the special quality of this 802.11 wireless LAN standard. So power management is done by this MAC management. Next one is PLCP, physical layer convergence protocol. This is a clear channel assessment signal. So how does a station get to know whether this channel is free or idle? How does it know whether any transmission is going on in the network or not? Yes, by using this CCA, that is clear channel assessment. So clear channel assessment signal is sent by this physical layer. From that, the MAC layer will decide like which station can transmit the data onto the channel, or it will control the stations from accessing the channel because it might be busy, right? So next one, so this process is done by carrier sensing. We have already discussed this, right? So next one is physical medium dependent. Next one, it does all the modulation techniques and also it does the encoding one of data. Next one, physical management. This is responsible for channel selection. Also, it maintains the management information base. Next one, station management. This station management will coordinate both the management functions like MAC management and also physical management. So, that's all for today, and thank you for listening to the class. See you in the next class.